Well, I got a surprise for y'all. We've got Devin Pike with Red Carpet Crash. You've got so many sites, I don't know. I'm going to introduce him, but he's sitting right here next to him. He's kind of like family because Jimmy Ryan, as y'all met last week with the Really Bad Radio, and then we know Sam the Mailman, Mark Harris.
Oh, you poor soul.
Oh, we love Mark. And so we all were in radio together or connected in some way. So we're like all from Arkansas. Anyway.
Wow.
So this is...
Leading off with a bang.
Aunt Mom, and Uncle Dad. Yeah,
the Peanut Gallery loved that bit.
Yeah, you know that's that stand-up comic that comes out. Me and Matt have a hard time. Anyway.
Sure.
So he's agreed to come on. Let me tell you about Devin.
Oh, God.
He has a Red Carpet Crash. He does the popcorn list.
Not anymore.
You're all. Well, you were doing, gosh, you've got your own website, and so you've got, looks like you're doing business. Gosh, you do a wonderful website. But anyway, welcome to the show. You are a known movie reviewer and news. So what are you going to tell us about movies in Dallas today?
Well, there's a couple of big releases this week. One of them being the latest flick from Clint Eastwood called Hereafter. Last year he worked with Matt Damon. The life story, or not the life story, the true story of the South African rugby team that won the World Cup of rugby when it was hosted in South Africa after Mandela was released from prison. Worked with Matt Damon as the captain of that rugby team. They're back together again because Clint Eastwood, once he gets a project, and once he starts to get a cast of characters, he'll start bringing those people back in.
Is he in the movie?
Eastwood is not. Damon is.
Well, he's kind of old, you know. I mean.
Well, it doesn't stop him. I mean, he was in Gran Torino 2 years ago and was completely stellar.
I only say that because I saw him in the last one, which was I guess that movie where he was the neighbor, and I can't.
Gran Torino.
Yeah, Gran Torino,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, but because I remember from the days of the very beginning, but he
Sure.
is directing this film.
The very first movie I ever saw, actually. I was 5 years old. My grandfather, who loved Eastwood from the early days, Big Valley, all those.
Yeah.
It was the Gauntlet. 1975, Sandra Locke, another person who he loved to work with and would just cast him in everything that he absolutely did. And you're going to see that again with Damon because they have a very good working relationship. Okay. With Hereafter, you've got a person who is a noted and, unfortunately for him, world-renowned psychic. He actually does see he sees the people who have passed on to the next plane. He is able to communicate to people by touching their hands and saying, okay, who do you have in your life that has passed on? Who do you want to communicate with? And he's very troubled by it because after 10, 12 years of being this public figure, and you've seen people like John Edwards, people who claim to be psychics and can see on the side of it. This is the dark side of it, where he looks at it and says, I don't want this gift. It is not a gift. It is a curse. It is a burden. I don't want it anymore. Tries to live in seclusion for the most part.
I've heard of that theme before. I think Bruce Willis was in that movie, where he didn't know he was dead. Yeah,
with The Sixth Sense, exactly.
Yeah.
And way to spoil it for everybody who hasn't seen it, Kathy. Thank you very much. But it's an extremely,
Who hadn't seen The Sixth Sense by now?
Well, you always get that one person. Like, Kathy, I was going to rent that this. I can't believe you. There's always one in every bunch. I have to worry about that.
That was a good ending to that movie.
And probably the last one that M. Night Shyamalan actually had. I have to say, after that and Unbreakable, it's diminishing returns with M. Night. But we're not here to bury him. We're here to praise Clint Eastwood. Hereafter is a really great film. I was really surprised by it because
it's scary.
It's not scary as much as it is just it's thought-provoking. It deals with how he perceives the afterlife to look, and they take great pains to it because people do perceive the hereafter, hence the title of the movie, in different ways. And it's a well-crafted movie, great actors. Jay Moore is in it, and I don't think I've seen Jay Moore in a dramatic role where he does as well as he does in this flick. He plays Matt Damon's best friend, who basically almost an agent, but not quite, because he tries to keep him insulated from everyone else who wants a piece of him. It's like you touch his hand, you get to see your loved ones in the.
It's not like the Robin Williams thing that what he was in with.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Certainly not. But that's the thing. Jay Moore's he's a comic. He's known as a comedic actor.
Okay.
Life Uninterrupted, or Gary Interrupted. That's what it is. Fox TV show, but great job with it. And Eastwood, and you say that he's in his later years. There may not be somebody who is as prolific and as artistically creative with the films that he does than Eastwood is.
I wasn't criticizing him. I was just saying, as an actor, it's kind of hard to play the
Can't all be spring chickens, Kathy.
Well, I mean, play Misty for me. That was a very and he was just always a very much of a leading man, and so but he has taken that and he's probably living his passion now.
Absolutely.
And the movies. I don't know if he even did he direct Gran Torino? Or
he directed Gran Torino,
okay.
Starred in as well, and then prior to that, you got Flags Are Our Fathers. Good gosh. I mean, you sit here and just look down the IMDb list. He'll do a project about once every 1, 2, or even 3 years, but now he won't stay on the shelf for that long, because
but he's
if there's
talent.
he's a project, if there's something that interests him, he'll say, okay, fine, I'm going to go after this. And that's the thing. He has this strong work ethic.
He's our Betty White. No.
I'm not exactly sure I'd put them in the same pantheon exactly, but if you say so, Kathy, more power to you.
No, let me tell you, and I say that with much love because I've been watching it, and I think you forgot one thing he was in. Oh, gosh, what was that?
Well, he's been in 18,000 things and directed about another 10,000 more.
You said Big Valley, but I think it was something else. I want to say Rollin'.
Rawhide,
yes. So I mean, I've been watching him since I was a little kid.
And then you get into the Sergio Leone movies, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Outlaw Josie Wales, all of those, just fantastic westerns.
When is that going to open here? Are we going to have any big fanfare with it?
That opens Friday. They've been sneaking it very quietly over the last couple of weeks, and I was kind of surprised they're putting it out this early, but I think they almost want to capitalize on the Halloween movie season, because it
is a psychological thriller.
Sure, and if you have to put it up against Jackass 3D, then fine. I think it'll actually do. I hear the moans back there, but don't be so highbrow, you guys. I
have not seen that movie. What did you think of the 3D?
The 3D was fantastic. I mean, as far as look, I'm a base creature like anyone else, and watching somebody get hit in the junk over and over again is going to wind up being funny. And I enjoy, I don't want to like it, but I wanted to avoid it. I could have actually not gone to see it because they didn't screen it for critics. It's a critic-proof movie. You're going to see it if you want to see it. But there's this one bit where they've got this 5-foot-tall hand that's on a spring back behind a doorway, and they lure people over. Oh, hey, what's going on? High five! And as you go to reach up, this massive hand comes and smacks them in the face.
Okay, I saw
but
that.
See, you laugh your head off when you see that because it's funny. It's a good gag, and that's probably one of the most tasteful gags in the flick. There are portalets launched with massive bungee cords, 40 feet into the air, fully loaded, I might add. With our friend Steve-O.
But is it a date movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I took my wife to see Jackass 3D, and she
appreciated you.
No, she loved it.
Yeah.
And didn't actually like the first two, and not a big fan of 3D movies.
Yeah.
It was shot in 3D, which is important. I mean, you're seeing studios actually figuring out if you convert a movie from normal 2D film to 3D, it's not going to look good. People aren't going to like it, and it's going to turn them off to I'm not going to go see another 3D movie again. That's just ridiculous. Why would I bother? Now the studios are getting wise with it, and even you're seeing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Both those parts were supposed to be put out in 3D. They were going to up-convert it, which is they do the process in post-production. They said nope. Can't get it to look good. We're not going to put an inferior product out there. And kudos to Warner Brothers for actually figuring that out, that people don't want to see an inferior product and pay more money to do it.
Or go drive out to the special IMAX,
absolutely.
theater and everything, because I do love IMAX.
Mm-hmm. And I'll pay the extra $5 for IMAX just because you get to a point where you hope that the jackass is in the theater. And I'm not talking about the pranks. I'm talking about the real people who will take their Bluetooth headsets in there and talk on the phone while the movie's going on. You hope that after a certain dollar amount that they pay to get into the thing, that they're not going to go and do that kind of behavior. You hope so. But I'm learning that there's no dollar tag on stupidity. There's no dollar tag on it at all. Just ask Mel Gibson. So
what are the Hollywood? Now I know. Now, so you were you a critic for the movie with Clint Eastwood? I mean, the Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Movie. And that's called what?
It's called Hereafter.
And is that all different theaters?
It opens wide. You won't. If
and
you
you
won't be able to
recommend
pass
that movie? You recommend it
wholeheartedly. It's a great film. It's really well done. Damon does a better job in this than he did in Invictus, in my opinion, and I absolutely wouldn't have a problem recommending it to anybody.
So if you're going to pick one to go, and other than the horror movies, what are the horror movies?
Well, you say that because we're getting into the season where you got your two big ones. Last year, you had Saw, which I think had its sixth segment, and then you had Paranormal Activity, a movie that was shot for $15,000. That's all it cost to make it. It's called found footage, where you have somebody who. They had some problems in their house. Is it a ghost? Is it somebody screwing around in there? Is it a poltergeist? Whatever it's going to be. And Oren Peli, who wrote and directed Paranormal Activity, shopped it around for 3 years. And Steven Spielberg saw an early cut of it, was so freaked out by it, he had to take it back to the studio in a black trash bag because he was scared that there was something weird going on in his house, and it was because of that movie. Whether that's urban legend or, because no one will actually comment on it at DreamWorks. The movie did fantastically to the point where it beat Saw on opening weekend.
Saw.
Straight up.
Saw.
I liked the first one. But I'm not a fan of torture porn, so I kind of get away.
What does that say about me?
Well, I was just going to let it go, but hey, what are you going to do? So inevitably, sequel greenlit immediately. Oren Peli's not involved with it, but the guys that are used to work for the Saw franchise. So that it kind of keeps the whole rivalry going between the two rivaling. It's like the Sharks and the Jets.
You get to feel like you're part of the family. You get to know the characters, and it becomes kind of like a Sopranos or
Sure.
You kind of the Dexter. I really enjoy Dexter. Now you also do television.
I do, and you cannot get me away from my TV on Saturday nights, on Sunday nights, because for that entire Michael C. Hall, Jennifer Carpenter, all fantastic. But Paranormal Activity 2, just saw it last night. I snuck back into the screen because they had us come out to introduce the movie. Okay. But you say, no critics. We don't want critics in here. I snuck back in, saw it. It's a better movie than Paranormal Activity. It's a better movie than the original. It's more fleshed out. It has more emotional impact because you actually care about the people that are in it.
And the name of that movie is?
Paranormal Activity 2.
Okay.
That actually opens tomorrow as well. So if you want to go for more classic horror, go for Paranormal Activity 2. If you want more esoteric stuff, more highbrow stuff, go with Hereafter. If you just want to see people hitting the junk, go ahead and go see Jackass 3D. It's fine. You're not going to... All three of those movies... You will not feel cheated when you come out of the theater, and it's very rare that I can come on and say that. I mean, our good board op Jimmy Ryan will tell you, I usually hate 3/4 of the movies I go see because I'm tired of formulaic.
You really are, and you're excited about these ones.
Well, they're great movies. And one for each
let's go
specific
to the
taste. Tomorrow, absolutely, head down to the multiplex. You're not going to feel cheated. Don't go see Saw 3D. Don't even bother with it. They're not screening for critics like with Paranormal Activity 2. But honestly, there's no reason to even worry with it because it's just going to be the same thing you've seen over and over again except in 3D, and why bother?
Okay, and y'all had your horror remix last night. I know that's kind of like it, but Red Carpet Crash, it does all that stuff. And tell us a little bit how to get a hold of you because we've only got 30 seconds here.
You can follow us on Twitter at RedCarpetCrash. The website is RedCarpetCrash.com, and we're on Facebook /RedCarpetCrash as well. Easily accessible. We hold contests every single week.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And I was and you're going to come back and be a regular visitor. And that's my idea. And so maybe we'll be able to tell the viewers about some contests and make them a part of it. But they can follow y'all on Twitter too.